need you to get out your notes that look like this. It says parallel lines vocabulary. And if you want to use a marker or colored pencils or anything to fill this in, to me, colorful notes are way more fun to study than just black and white notes. So if you have a highlighter or a marker or a colored pencil, this would be a good time to use it. Color, yeah. Or like gel pens or, whatever. All right. So the first word on there in this first box, I want you to write parallel, or you can write parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that are in the same plane that do not intersect. That is old news. There's nothing new there. Here's how we write that they're parallel. Line M is parallel to line N. So you don't have to write the word parallel. You're allowed to use that symbol. Now, remember, we were taught that one of the big no-nos of assuming, one of the big no-nos is to assume that lines are parallel. So right now, M is not parallel to N because I don't have any symbols on there. So I can put a symbol on there to show that M is parallel to N. You add an arrow to your line like that. I want you to go ahead and add that to your picture right here. Right here. Add arrows on your lines like I did. Alright, you also might see the arrows, they might look like this, like a bold arrow filled in. I just want you to be aware of the different ways you would see it. So you might see that, and that would also indicate that the lines are parallel. It kind of looks like a triangle, but it's supposed to be an arrow. Okay? Alright, next one. The next word on your list, the next word right here, is transversal. Practice saying it out loud. Transversal. A transversal is a line that intersects two or more other lines in the same plane at different points. Right now, your picture on here does not have a transversal. You need to add transversal T to your picture. Add transversal T to your picture and call it T. Notice how T intersects R and it intersects S. So T is the transversal in this picture. How do I know S is not the transversal? Well, S is only intersecting T. Well, in the picture it is only intersecting T. So T is our transversal. Alright, did you write the word? You drew the transversal in. Can you have two transversals? Sure, you can. But you would only look really at one transversal at a time. So really you only have one transversal because you're really focusing on the angle relationships created by that transversal. Alright, so when we draw a transversal through two lines, how many angles do we create? How many angles are created by that one transversal? Good. Yes, there's 8 angles. Okay. So there's 4 in this top cluster, and there's 4 in this bottom cluster. The thing is that if we have so many angles, we have 8 different angles, it's going to start to get confusing when we talk about how those angles are related. So we need to name them something for us to be able to talk about them. You can't talk about something if you haven't named it. So we're actually going to spend all period today naming these angles. So let's get started. No, there can't be 2 transversals in one cluster. Well, oh yeah, another one could cut in. Yes, it could. And you'll see that on your homework, I think. All right, let's take a look. Let's try to name them. I'm going to give you some hints on how we're going to name them. Take a look at angle 1 and angle 2. Every time you're trying to name these, I want you to ask yourself, are they on the same side of the transversal or are they on different sides of the transversal? They're both on the right. So they are on the same side of transversal T. Okay? Our angles 1 and 2, inside lines S and R, here's S, here's R. Let's pretend I turned it into like a house. Would they be inside the house or outside the house? They'd be inside. So they're on the same side of T, and they're inside. What's another word for inside? A more formal word. Yes, interior. So this is your next word on your sheet. The next word is same side interior. You don't have to write the word angles if you don't want to because they're all going to be angles. That's up to you. But you're writing same side interior right there in spot number 3. Your picture has no angles labeled. So with your color or just with black and white, whatever, I want you to label these angles. Angle 1 and angle 2 are same side interior. It's their position. It's their relationship to each other, really. Okay? So all you're doing is writing the word and then adding those numbers to your picture. Moving on. Next one. What did I change other than it was 1 and 2 and now it's 3, 4? What did I change? They're on different sides of T now. One's on the left and one's on the right. What should we call these? What should we call them? Different side interior? We're not going to use that. Opposite side interior, we're actually not going to use the word opposite either. Let's come up with another word. Oh, you got it, Neil. Very good. These are called alternate interior angles. So this is the next word you're writing. Alternate interior angles. And you're marking your picture. You're putting 3 and 4 in the correct spot so that when you study these words, you're studying the right relationship. They're on alternate sides of transversal T. Okay, this next word isn't going to fit the same formula as the other 2 words. The next word is going to be corresponding. You don't have to write it down yet. I want you to say that word out loud. Corresponding. Say it to yourself or out loud. Corresponding. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So, in the dictionary, corresponding means having or participating in the same relationship. So I wanted to show you that angle 5 and angle 6 have the same relationship. What I mean by that is take a look at 5. It's above line S and it's to the left of T. Take a look at 6. It's above line R and it's to the left of T. So they're both above and left. Above and left. So when they're in corresponding positions, they're called corresponding angles. So that's the next word on your sheet. Corresponding. Write it down. Corresponding. Notice they're on the same side of T, but one of them's interior and one's exterior. But the cool thing about corresponding angles is that if I take this angle and I go directly below, I land in angle 6's spot. 5 and 6 are like in the same spot. They're in corresponding positions. Both of these are to the left and above. To the left and above. All right? Next word. Same side exterior. Exterior is the opposite of interior. Good. So 7 and 8 are same side exterior angles. Yep. So by process of elimination, the last one is alternate exterior angles. These angles are as far apart as you can get. It's like these 2 angles got in a big fight and they like separated. I want to go as far away from you as I can. Alternate exterior. It's like my daughters in the car last night. They were on the way to gymnastics. They were fighting in the back of the car and I was like, that's it. Separate, you guys. Get as far away from each other as you can. Okay. So that's it, guys. We've named all of the angles. We've named them. Now we have to practice using their names. Turn your paper over to the back. Turn your paper over to the back. Does your back look like this? Before I give you time to name them, let's just do the first 2 together. Now, I can call upon words that you used from the previous unit as well. Okay? Let's look at 1 and 15. Anytime you get stuck, ask yourself, okay, are they on the same side? Or are they on alternate sides? So look at 1 and 15. They're on alternate sides. And then you ask yourself, are they interior, like inside? Or are they exterior, like outside? My thumb is... So good. If you ask yourself those questions, then you will know their name right away. So these are alternate exterior angles. I'll just abbreviate that because I'm running out of room. Okay, what about 2 and 6? Now, it helps some students sometimes to turn their head sideways because it's like my transversal is going sideways now instead of up and down. So look at 2 and 6.
Alternate interior.
Yes, sir. 2 and 6 have a new transversal. There's a different transversal there. And so if I turn my head, they're on alternate sides. And this time they are interior. They are inside the lines. I'm going to let you do the rest on your own, and I will call on people. Have your mic ready to answer. Okay, Rena, 5 and 4. What's the relationship between 5 and 4? So yes, they're supplementary, but they're more than that. You need to promote them, give them a better, more specific name. Linear pair, yes. Okay, so yes, we can still use words from a previous unit. Those are a linear pair. They are on the same side of the transversal, but one is interior and one's exterior. And actually, look, 5 and 4, there really is no transversal because it doesn't involve 2 lines with a transversal. So 5 and 4 actually are not a transversal relationship. Okay, next one, TJ. 6 and 11. What do you have for 6 and 11, TJ? Yes, they're called same side interior angles. I'm going to abbreviate because we're running out of room. Okay. 8 and 6, Michael. What are those? Yay! Very good. Those are corresponding angles. Next one is Avanti. 9 and 11, Avanti. All right, Avanti, 9 and 11. They're not going to be alternate exterior because they're not on alternate sides of the transversal. Here's the transversal. They are not on alternate sides. Yes, corresponding angles, 2 in a row. For some reason, that is the angle pair that students struggle with the most. So practice a lot with that one. Okay, the next angle pair, reveal. Angela, 16 and 4. I gave you a trick one. I was mean. What do you think, Angela? Is there one transversal that creates 16 and 4? No. So the answer is actually that they have no relationship. The answer is none. Angela, you can have this one since that one was tricky. 12 and 14. What's the vocab word for 12 and 14? 3 and 12 would also have no vocab word relationship. 12 and 14, Angela. Very good, very good. Vertical angles. 12 and 14 are vertical angles. We're using words from last unit. And last one, Lily. 3 and 13. Very good. Alternate exterior angles. So alternate exterior angles would be the answer. Okay? Is at the bottom of your paper, I want you to draw a transversal with a ruler. Make sure that it's not perpendicular to those lines, because if it is perpendicular, what we're discovering won't be as cool. Okay, so you drew a line. You drew a transversal. Now, I know you guys don't have patty paper. I want you to take your protractor And I want you to measure all 8 angles. I want you to measure the 8 angles that you created. And then I want you to shade the ones that match the same color. So if you find 2 angles that are 87, 87, shade them both blue or something. And if you find 2 other angles that are the same, shade them a different color. So I want you to measure the angles, measure 8 times, or you can use the vertical angle theorem and you won't have to measure all 8 times, or use the linear pair theorem. But I want you to write the angle measure in each one of the angles that you created. Oops. So you've got, by the way, those lines on there, we made them parallel on purpose. So those lines that were on your page are parallel. You drew a transversal of some sort, and you're labeling all the angles. And then you're shading the ones that match. And you should discover some relationships that we're going to talk a lot more about tomorrow. Okay?